Chapter 38. 4 years. Gulp. Yi Tianqian said what he was thinking in his heart. Xiao Yan unconsciously swallowed a mouthful of saliva. It seemed like there really was a possibility. After Yi Tianqian said those words, he looked at the map of meridians in the sky and felt that it was more and more similar. It was a long time before he finally let out a soft sigh. He gave Xiao Yan a strange look. This brat was really strange. If this cultivation technique was really something that was even stronger than the 12 sacred items in the legends, then the future would be limitless. If the news were to spread, perhaps even those legendary Profound Realm seniors wouldn't be able to resist taking action. Clearing his throat, Yi Tianqian said, "This is only a guess, even if it's just a guess. Your cultivation technique is really that kind of legendary holy object. With your current pitiful strength, you aren't qualified to dig it out, so forget about it for the time being." After a pause, Yi Tianqian said with a serious expression, "According to what you said, because of the flame mantra burning spell, you can absorb more flames when you are in the lower realm. But looking at the current situation, your Chaos Great Monarch Flame is creating 3000 Lightning Monarch Flame." Create. Xiao Yan was startled and looked at the Chaos Great Monarch Flame in his hand. The latter's rank on the Monarch Flame ranking was far inferior to the 3000 Lightning Monarch Flames. How could it be created? It's because of the 9 profound golden thunder. A light flashed in Xiao Yan's mind as he opened his mouth and spoke. That's right, Yi Tianqian nodded. If my guess is correct, your Chaos Great Monarch Flame has a devouring ability because of the special ability of the Flame Mantra burning spell. The 9 profound golden thunder should be formed from the source of the 3000 lightning monarch flames. After the Chaos Great Monarch Flame has devoured it, it should be able to create 3000 lightning monarch flames after a period of time. These words sounded ridiculous. Even though they came from Yi Tianqian's mouth, Xiao Yan still found it hard to believe. What was this? If that was the case, wouldn't he be able to easily collect all 36 types of monarch flames? As if he could see Xiao Yan's astonishment, Yi Tianqian snorted lightly and said, "Brat, don't be delusional. The prerequisite for the Chaos Great Monarch Flame to be able to create other monarch flames is to first devour the fire source of those monarch flames. But now, other than the 3000 lightning monarch flames, can you also find the fire source of the other monarch flames?" Yi Tianqian's words were like a bucket of cold water that instantly extinguished Xiao Yan's surging passion. Xiao Yan dryly laughed. He also threw this unrealistic idea to the back of his mind. Indeed, with his current strength, it was already lucky enough for him to possess the Chaos Great Monarch Flame. People should know their own limitations. The principle of biting off more than you can chew had long been hidden in Xiao Yan's heart. However, Yi Tianqian looked at the Xiaoyi in Xiao Yan's hand with a profound gaze and said, "According to my estimation, if the Chaos Great Monarch Flame can successfully create the 3000 Lightning Monarch Flame, there will definitely be an intense battle between the two of them. At that time, you might be affected as well. But with your strength of 3 sovereign warriors, I don't think you can handle it. Look at the degree of the 9 profound golden thunder. In a year at most, it will turn into 3000 lightning monarch flames. In these 5 months, you have to try your best to increase your strength to deal with the danger of the monarch flame merging." Xiao Yan was startled in his heart, and then he solemnly nodded. With Yi Tianqian's identity, there was no reason for him to lie to him. Moreover, the fusion of the monarch flames was something that could be imagined with one's toe. The process would definitely be filled with danger. As the master of the Chaos Great Monarch Flame, it was absolutely impossible for him to stay out of this. It seemed like it was urgent to increase his strength during this period of time. Pausing for a moment, Yi Tianqian laughed at himself. Actually, after saying so much, I still have my own selfish motives. The stronger the Chaos Great Monarch Flame is, the more beneficial it will be to the little dragon's recovery. Xiao Yan smiled calmly when he heard that. "Yi Yun, old man, please don't say that. The stronger the Chaos Great Monarch Flame is, the better it is for a kid. You have helped this brat so much. This brat is truly grateful to you from the bottom of his heart." Yi Tianqian twitched his mouth and said, "This little guy's strength is not good, but his mouth skills are not bad." Hee. Although he said that, Yi Tianqian's heart, which had been lonely for 10,000 years, was still slightly moved. With his experience, he could naturally hear the deep gratitude in Xiaoyan's tone. Before he died, he was also a great figure who was proud of the wind and clouds. The strength of a supreme saint allowed him to run amok in all domains, and his skill in alchemy had reached the acme of perfection. There were very few people who could compare with him, but it also caused him to be extremely arrogant. He had offended many experts of the same level, and although they were afraid of his status as an alchemy saint master, they did not dare to openly oppose him. They still welcomed him with a smile, but when he was targeted by that organization. Furthermore, when two of the saints were sent to intercept him and the little dragon in forest domain, none of the ultimate saint expert helped him in the end. In the past 10,000 years, he had been furious. He had been aggrieved and had reflected on himself countless times. As his consciousness gradually dissipated, he also saw through everything. From the initial arrogance to a peaceful heart. 10,000 years passed, and a trace of loneliness appeared. In his peaceful heart, what Xiao Yan had done and the help he had given the egg had made Yi Tianchen feel grateful and delighted at the same time. One more thing. You will have no problem staying in this illusion realm for the whole year, right? Xiao Yan's heart started beating violently when he heard this. What did it mean to stay with a saint when he was still alive? There was no need to think about this problem. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and tried his best to calm himself down. His voice was trembling because of his excitement. No problem. This year, this kid can calm down and improve his strength. Yi Tianchen smiled playfully and looked at Xiao Yan with a playful look in his eyes. You can still calm down and cultivate during this year. What kind of joke is this? You are the last little guy the first have ever met in my life. If I don't torture you properly, I will be letting down this opportunity. Thinking of this, Yi Tianchen's eyes suddenly lit up. He smiled at Xiao Yan, who was immersed in excitement, and said, "Little guy, this illusion realm of mine will disappear in about 4 years. When that happens, I will die completely. This illusion is different from the time in the outside world. 1 year in the outside world is equivalent to 4 years in the inside world. If you are fine, how about you spend these 4 years to the fullest?" Xiao Yan's heart, which had calmed down a little, once again began to beat violently because of these words. His rapid breathing caused the origin monarch key in his body to become a bit disordered, and the origin chains seemed to be singing softly. Thank you, Elder Yi, for your love. That kid will shamelessly agree. Even though Xiao Yan used to be proud of the wind and clouds and smile at the end of the world, he still couldn't react in time to this sudden huge temptation. He had to hold it in for a long time before he could say this. Yi Tianchen smiled disapprovingly. What he did, a large part of his selfishness was also included. After all, the Chaos Great Monarch Flame was just an extremely weak Monarch Flame. Even if it was fused with the 3000 Lightning Monarch Flames, it wouldn't be any better. However, the little dragon was once a saint-tier holy beast. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to recover in a year's time, so Yi Tianchen decided to let Xiao Yan wait until the illusion realm was destroyed before he could leave. The 4 years in this illusion realm was merely a year in the outside world, although it might reduce the time of the trial by a year. But if he could receive a single instruction from Yi Tianchen, it would be better than a few years of trial alone. In this way, 3 more years of trial time would be equal to nothing. Even without Yi Tianchen's guidance, 3 years was more than enough for him to improve a lot. Based on this thought, Xiao Yan agreed without hesitation. It's settled then. You should cultivate well during this period of time. Increasing your strength as soon as possible will be a great help to the Chaos Great Monarch Flame merging with the 3000 Lightning Monarch Flame. Yi Tianchen paused for a moment. He waved his sleeve, causing Xiao Yan's storage ring to tremble uncontrollably. After that, 6 fire pillars appeared around Xiao Yan. There was a drop of red demonic blood slowly swimming about. Don't waste such a good thing. This thing seems to be used to refine a low-grade medicine pill, but with your soul and strength, you are not qualified to do so. The blood in this pillar contains extremely powerful fire element energy, which is suitable for you. Using this can speed up your cultivation. As he spoke, Yi Tianchen flicked his finger. Following the cracking sound of the stone pillar, the 6 drops of blood slowly dispersed and were absorbed by the 6 jade bottles formed from Origin Monarch Key. Swoosh! A jade bottle flew towards Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan's eyebrows twitched. He grabbed the jade bottle that was rushing towards him. I have already gotten rid of the violent energy inside. This pure fire energy is enough for you to advance to the 4th sovereign realm. Advancing earlier, hee. When that happens, it'll be fun. Without waiting for Xiao Yan to hear the last part, Yi Tianqian waved his white robe. Xiao Yan disappeared. Swoosh. A sound of wind breaking was heard. In the next moment, Xiao Yan appeared out of thin air. Before the former could react, he heard a furious roar coming from the side. Then, with a flash in front of his eyes, a black shadow pounced on him. Xiao Yan's expression remained unchanged. The Origin Monarch key in his body instantly surged, causing the Origin chains to make a rustling sound. At the same time, Xiao Yan's fist collided with the black shadow's head. Woo! Xiao Yan could not help but cry out in pain. He quickly glanced at the slightly red fist, then looked at the black shadow in front of him. The black figure was a wolf-shaped devil beast, but it was the strength of a sovereign. It was instantly sent flying when it received Xiao Yan's fierce punch. It wailed continuously along the way, and its body heavily smashed onto the ground like a sandbag. The black wolf whimpered a few times, then straightened its 4 legs and did not move at all. Once the black wolf died, Xiao Yan, who did not have time to relax, immediately heard the furious roars around him. He instinctively raised his head, and when he saw the hundreds of black wolves in the surrounding valley, his expression changed. It took him a long time to squeeze out a few words from his mouth. The Supreme Saint is even more abnormal. On the square, Yi Tianqian was leisurely sitting cross-legged. He was sipping a pot of fragrant tea that had somehow changed. He seemed to be able to hear Xiao Yan's words in the distance. He smiled and took a sip of the tea. He smacked his lips as if he had not had enough, and then mumbled, "It seems that only the abnormal fellows can obtain the legacy of the Supreme Saint." Lightly and gently, these words were quickly dispersed by the gentle breeze. The sky was still as blue as before. Chapter end.